Welcome, everyone. The moment you all have been waiting for is finally here. Each of you is one of the first to hear what Walk to End Alzheimer's will look like this year. My name is Justin George, and I recently joined the Aloha Chapters team for the Alzheimer's Association as the Director of Development, and I have a strong passion for the association as well as for the cause to end Alzheimer's. My wife's grandmother currently suffers from dementia. She's almost 94 years old, and her grandfather is 96 years old and is her primary caregiver, but it really does take the entire family to look after the two of them and be there for them. And with my parents getting up there in age, I just don't want them to have to suffer the same way. And so if we can end Alzheimer's now, then they can be prepared to live a long, healthy life, even into their 80s and 90s. So I'm just very passionate, very excited to be a part of the team and to start by having 4 walks in the next 4 months here in Hawaii. We'd like to begin today with an icebreaker and ask you to please type your answer into the chat, and Rebecca will be monitoring the chat in order to choose one response that will be the person we want to have share their most interesting or memorable place that you have walked. And so hopefully walked at least a mile or 2, but a very interesting place or a memorable place that you've walked. And while you're typing in those answers, I'd just like to share mine that in 1994, I was visiting my parents who had just moved to Hawaii, and my dad and I hiked Diamond Head on January 16th, 1994, and that was the day before I had to fly back to the East Coast for college, and went back to a snowstorm and decided to move to Hawaii after that year of college, and have been here ever since. And at the end of that hike up Diamond Head, my dad said, "We're going to do this again in 30 years. Do you think you'll be up to it?" So he's going to be 82 in 2024, but so I'm getting ready to hike it again with him in a few years. So that was just very memorable because it really started my transition to move out to Hawaii. Rebecca, do you have one that you'd like to choose?
Yeah, I would love to call out Bobby Arita.
Bobby, can you share us what your most interesting or memorable walk?
Actually, Rebecca, it's me, Kathy.
Hey.
That's her Zoom. I climbed to the top of Fushimi Inari in Japan, and we went through all these, I think there's like 1,000 of tories, those red gate-like things. And we climbed all the way to the top and back down. And it was pretty grueling. We're sore for the next 4 days and had a hard time walking, but it was really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate that. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our host for today and walk event co-chair, Philip Packard. Philip's been involved with the Alzheimer's Association for the last 3 years as a volunteer leader. And when he's not helping the Alzheimer's Association, he's the regional VP of sales for the riding company. We'll turn it over to Philip. Philip, you're still on mute.
I'm going to go ahead and try and switch to my computer audio. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll just hope that nobody starts a lawnmower here. So, as I was starting to say to myself, thought it would be prudent to start off with a little discussion as to why we walk and what some of the symbolism is associated with our walk. So in regards to the flowers, purple flowers mean you've lost someone to Alzheimer's. Carrying a yellow flower means that you're a caregiver to someone with Alzheimer's or dementia. Carrying a blue flower means you're living with Alzheimer's. And finally, the flower I carry, the orange flower, means you support the Alzheimer's Association, excuse me. And now, the reason I do so is because I want to be a contributor to creating a world without Alzheimer's, which I'm sure is a common cause that all of us here on this webinar have. Now, although I personally do not have a direct connection with the disease, I can empathize. And to be quite candid with you, this disease scares the heck out of me. I can only begin to imagine what folks go through as a family in addressing the needs of folks inflicted with Alzheimer's. And that's something I want to see eradicated from the world that I live in, and then my children and grandchildren will grow up in. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about my role as the event co-chair and explain what that essentially means. Really, in summary, I think my main job is to keep Kai and Rebecca in line. But other than that, if you haven't gotten the opportunity to know them yet and understand why that is, I'd elaborate by saying that really what I do is I assist in turning great ideas from our other volunteers into impactful actions. The way I do this is by helping others identify what their talents are and really how to apply them and the logistics that go into putting it together. So that is in essence my personal talent, logistics. And speaking of logistics, that's probably a good segue to talk about what our layout is for our agenda today. So we've already got the icebreaker down. Next, we're going to talk about meeting our walk manager. Then we'll move on to our mission moment. We'll introduce our chairs and sponsors. We'll delve a bit deeper into the mission impact in Hawaii. Talk about the Walk Reimagined, which is where we're going to see some of this new technology come into play. We're going to give some reminders in regards to fundraising and how that differs during COVID-19. And the best part of all, we're going to end with some prizes and Q&A. So with that, I'd now like to hand it over to somebody that I work very closely with that has a passion and connection all her own. Rebecca, go right ahead.
Thanks for the intro, Philip.
Pleasure.
So hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. My name is Rebecca Halloran. I am the walk manager, so I am in charge of the 4 walks here in Hawaii. Alzheimer's is very close to my heart. I personally walk in honor of my grandma Margarita. This picture on the screen that you all see was from my grandma's 97th birthday. She lived in a little care home right outside San Francisco called Home Sweet Home. So my grandma was basically like a parent for me growing up. She took care of me for, the first probably 16 years of my life. And it was at that point that she started to really develop the symptoms of Alzheimer's. We had to move her into our home and then move her just from different residence to residence. And I became her caregiver. So this other image here is of me holding the yellow flower. As Philip mentioned, the yellow flower is representative of all caregivers. So I first started participating in the walk just as a participant, like many of you all. I just wanted to have a way to tangibly give back and feel like I was doing something for the cause. And I found the walk to be a really great outlet for that. So I really appreciated that the walk existed and gave me this opportunity to honor my grandma and raise money for her. I then joined the association, and I've now been the manager for 3 walk seasons so far. This is my 3rd. My grandma did pass away last summer after over 10 years of Alzheimer's disease. So it's been a very terrible and hard journey, but I'm grateful for the association and for all of you for participating in fundraising. And I know it's one of those things where we all have a story and we're all connected in some way. And unfortunately, it's all heartbreaking ways. So I just wanted to thank you all for participating and continuing to walk and support us. So next, I wanted to introduce our fabulous volunteer, Naomi. Naomi has actually been the top fundraiser for the entire island of Oahu for the past 4 years and running. So with that, I would like to introduce my fabulous volunteer, Naomi.
Thank you, Rebecca. You are always so fun and so kind. Anyway, everybody, good afternoon. My name is Naomi, and here's my story of why I am involved with Alzheimer's Association. My father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2012. It was 7 years of a roller coaster ride, ups and downs, sadness and joys, hardships and anger, and on and on. Many of you know this firsthand. The heartaches of having to take away their car keys or running after them when they wander off somewhere, eventually having to change their diapers or feed them or watch them deteriorate before you because they don't know who you are. But with all that, my father he was a fighter, and it was just fitting that he just passed away this past Veterans Day. So this walk is a memorandum. It's for me a memorial for him because it's going to be his 1 year passing into heaven. Alzheimer's is very personal to me and my family, not only because of my father, but my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my aunts, and it seems to be very prevalent in our family. But again, because Alzheimer's is not something you can really confirm unless you have an autopsy, we did an autopsy on my father's brain. As hard as it was, this was my father's final contribution to mankind, to research, and to medicine. And unfortunately, it was confirmed that he had severe Alzheimer's. The pathologist was amazed at how much damage there was in his brain. And yet, I just think it was a miracle he could still smile, he could still acknowledge me with such severe brain damage. With that, I got tested and I have 1 out of 4 markers for Alzheimer's. So this is very personal to me and for me. In the beginning, when my father was first diagnosed, we would get involved in the walk, just get a bunch of people together and we would walk, like Rebecca said, for fun and to walk for a cause for my dad. But as the years gone by, it becomes so much more serious. It became a mission because it was not only for him, but it was for everyone else, including myself. So it was so important to raise money because we need money to find a cure. So using the website that Alzheimer's Association put up for us, posted photos, updated stories, and sent it to anybody and everyone I could think of, especially my clients, because my clients have deep pockets and we need the money. So I would, and when I would meet with them or I would just dine with my friends, I would always talk about my dad. And the reason for that is because you want it to be personal to them. You want them to connect to this cause. Because face it, if you don't know anybody with Alzheimer's, it's just another association. So you want them to feel personally related to this. And so that was my goal. And so when I send out my emails, I send it to everyone and I follow up and I continue to send second, third, fourth, and I just bug them. But they all know I do it for a reason. And I say that because it has to be personal. So with that in mind, what I also do is at the end of each year, I send them a little photo like this, which is a card. And what I would do is order new cards every year with an updated photo of my dad. And I just like a thank you to everyone who supported me and donated. And again, it was just that connection. So with that, I just encourage everyone to continue this fight because we have to find a cure for this awful, awful disease. And with that, I turn it over to Justin.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for sharing your story. We really appreciate that. In addition to the walk participants who do such a great job in fundraising, we can't do these events without the support of our volunteer leaders and the corporate and community sponsors who help us raise awareness and the funds needed to support our work. So starting with our Hawaii Island Walk, which will be taking place September 26th. We have the Honorable First Lady Dawn Ige as our honorary state walk chair for the walk, and she is actually the honorary state walk chair for all 4 walks. And then our Hawaii Island Walk chair is Renee Akau. who is from the Suisun Company on Hawaii Island. And then we have our sponsors. You can see Olson Trust, Monello Family Foundation, CU Hawaii Federal Credit Union, Big Island Toyota, Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union, HMSA, and Backyard Monkey. For our Maui Walk, which will be taking place October 17th, Scott Quarterman is our Maui Walk chair. Scott is from Kaiser Permanente. And our sponsors so far for Maui, still time to add more, but Maui Health, which is part of the Kaiser Permanente family, Ohana Care, Bayada, Rosalani Place, and Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. For our Oahu Walk, we do have a executive chair in Pat Duarte, President and CEO of Kahala Nui, and our walk event chair is Kai Ohashi. We have several sponsors already, and our biggest sponsor in Kahala Nui, Summit Media, Generations Magazine, the Plaza Assisted Living, UHA, the Queens Health System, Island Insurance, City Mill, HMAA, Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Ilima, at Limano, Haole Hawaii, Hale Kuiki, and Manoa Cottage and Kaimuki. And then our final walk, which will be in December 5th, we have Jasmine Yukimura from Ohana Pacific Management as our Kauai event chairperson. And our sponsors, Kauai's FM 97, First Hawaiian Bank, Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union, and Gather Federal Credit Union. We'd also like to send our mahalo for our national walk sponsors, which are Edward Jones, who is providing $25 million over the next 5 years to support our walks nationally, and CVS Health, who is providing over $10 million over the next 3 years to support the walks. And we are grateful for their partnership and commitment to end Alzheimer's. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to Paul Berardo, financial advisor with Edward Jones and the Oahu Walk committee member, to share a little bit about the involvement with the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
Thank you, Justin. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm assuming you can. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Again, my name is Paul Berardo. I am a financial advisor with Edward Jones. Today I speak to you. Wow, I didn't realize this was going to be so hard. Today, not only as an advisor, but also as a son of a parent with Alzheimer's. So every Wednesday morning, 5:30, I get a FaceTime call with a beautiful woman, my mom, back in Connecticut, who has had this disease for several years. It's really sad when every week I have to remind her, of who I am. And I spend the time not reflecting on who she is, because I know it's the disease, but more importantly, I recall the laughter and the love that we shared. I take the time to pray with her, sing for her, and all those wonderful things in the 15 minutes that I have. Rebecca, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was going to be as difficult. When I made that call this morning, I was thinking about this, so bear with me, I'm sorry. I'm also proud to be an employee of Edward Jones, a company who knows the importance of trying to find a cure for this disease. For 2020, Edward Jones has established some goals of having 3,500 virtual teams, a goal to raise over $3 million with over 20,000 participants. Here in Oahu, I'm proud to say as of now, we have teams raised on each of the islands from Edward Jones. Right now it's 16 participants and over $1,700 raised. But I do want to really restate what Justin just said. Edward Jones just renewed our commitment to pledge $25 million for the next 5 years to find a cure. So sorry for the emotions. It's personal. I'll turn it over to LJ.
Thank you, Paul, for sharing your story. And we're in this fight together to find a cure for this disease for your mother and the many others that are affected. And also thank you to, once again, to Edward Jones and CVS Health, our local sponsors, and our walkers, all of you for helping us move our mission forward. Every dollar you help us raise benefits those affected by this disease right here in Hawaii. I'm happy to share that last year we served over 2,400 family caregivers through our programs and services. We hosted 134 education and training programs for caregivers and those who are interested in Alzheimer's and other dementia. And we facilitated 216 support groups statewide. Our work in research has never been more exciting. And your past, your current, and your future participation as a walker, a volunteer, or a sponsor has really helped us make great strides in science. Like a blood test you can easily take at your doctor's office or a community lab to test for diabetes, high cholesterol, or hypertension, we will very soon have a blood test that can detect Alzheimer's disease or the onset of the disease even before symptoms occur. On to more exciting news, recent studies have also shown that vaccines may play a role in the prevention of not just the flu or pneumonia, and in the very, very near future, COVID-19, but also Alzheimer's disease. There is so much more to be done to study vaccines and their protective effects. And these are just two of the many other amazing things happening in dementia science, which you all make possible. And we are stewards of your dollars responsibly. 77 cents of every dollar you give or get goes to fueling our work in programs, our work in public policy and advocacy, and in research towards better treatments, diagnosis, and ultimately a cure. 18 cents goes to helping us raise money, and 5 cents goes to administrative costs and operations. I'm also proud to share that we exceed the rigorous standards of the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance and meet all of its 20 of the standards for charity accountability. So know that every dollar you entrust to us is making a difference, and thank you. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Philip, who will share some of the enhancements we are making for this year's walk.
Thank you very much, LJ. And I want to remind everybody that in order to sustain these programs and services and their work in advocacy and research, the Alzheimer's Association needs to raise funds through events such as the walk. Now, we all recognize that the world may look a little different right now, but the one thing that hasn't changed is our commitment to ending Alzheimer's and all dementia. So when you participate in the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's, you're part of a community that cares. And that community, which starts in your home and stretches across all our neighbor islands, has never needed us more. We're still coming together in 2020, even if it means trying something a little bit new. So let's talk a little bit about what is new. This year, the walk has 3 components to be aware of. First, we'll be able to watch the opening ceremony and promise garden ceremony from home by logging into our webinar platform, which is called Walk Mainstage. The platform is similar to a Zoom, which shouldn't be alien to anybody on this, but it does provide more engagement and features, including a Q&A and meet your sponsors section. Walk Main Stage will be available to watch all throughout the day, and we'll see a demonstration here in just a few moments. Item number 2, the walk is now your walk and will be done in your own neighborhood or community. The Walk mobile app is a great addition to the event this year, and it allows you to track your steps along the way, and it'll even send you messages of support and, from what I hear, even celebrity encouragement as you walk. And I wonder if Jason Momoa will be one of those celebrities. You know? Keep our fingers crossed, right? Now, the last component of our walk this year is our view-only Promise Garden. The location will be specific to each island, but what they'll all have in common is that the walk garden will provide a safe way for participants to enjoy the colorful walk flowers that we're all used to, from the safety of their vehicles or atop their bikes. And the other aspect of this is that it raises awareness about the Alzheimer's Association, our mission, and equally as important, allowing us to thank our generous local sponsors. Excuse me. Now let's dig into each one of these enhancements individually. So, beginning with the opening ceremony, As you can see here, the walk opening ceremony in 2020 look a little bit different than 2019. The right photo shows what our webinar platform is going to look like this year. It'll feature videos of speakers, an accompanying presentation, an area for Q&A and sponsor information as well. The platform is really innovative and interactive and will practically make you feel like you're at the opening ceremony, probably just a little less sweaty. A link will be provided and for everybody to be able to access the Walk Main Stage. The live webcast will occur the morning of each walk, and as a reminder, that same webcast will be accessible as a replay from that point on. Now, since we haven't had our walk yet, I thought it might be a good idea to take a look at a sample from the Portland, Oregon walk. LJ, I believe this is where we hand it off to you, correct?
Welcome. Thank you for attending. Our event will begin shortly. For the best viewing
and end alls. I would like to take a moment to thank the companies and individuals who made today's walk possible. We are so grateful for our generous local sponsors. Thank you to our statewide presenting sponsor, Frontier Management, who has supported us for more than 20 years. Thank you to our local presenting sponsor, Charter Mechanical, and exclusive sponsors.
Awesome, thanks for the demo, LJ. So as you can see, easy to access, easy to view. You can even fast forward. It's like having your own personal TiVo. I just dated myself by saying that, huh? Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about our next agenda item, how the actual walking of the walk is going to differ. Now, although we can't gather in large groups this year and walk as one community, we will still be walking. That walk may be down beaches, sidewalks, tracks, and trails. Participants will be donned in purple and waving their walk flags high as they walk on walk day. Now, each registered walk participant will be receiving a flag via mail to help them show their support, and that's something we're going to talk a little bit more about here in just a few moments. So speaking of that walk swag, let's talk a little bit more about that Promise Garden, because this is obviously one of our favorite parts associated with the walk, and that is those wonderful walk flowers. Now, the final new component of our 2020 walk is that this will be a view-only planted Promise Garden. These flowers represent all of you and the many reasons why we are all coming together to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia. The good news is, as volunteers, we'll at least no longer have to spend hours constructing these adorable yet fragile little symbols to hand out to every participant. Instead, we'll have a centralized, pre-planted garden for folks to enjoy. Speaking of which, I really do hope that each of us has a chance to drive by, bike by, or walk by and see the display in person. Locations and dates will be posted on each walk website, so keep your eyes open for that. Now I'd like to talk about what changes are being made for the day of walk items, such as our walk shirts. This year, our walkers will receive their shirts when they reach the $100 fundraising milestone. Those who reach Champion Club status by raising $500 or more will receive additional Mahalo items by mail as well. Now, as I mentioned earlier, new this year is that all registered walkers will be a set of 5 Walk to End Alzheimer's flags. You can decorate your lawn, office, home, which for some of us, home and office may be the same thing at this point, with these colorful flags. I'm going to be waving mine proudly on Walk Day. I can tell you that much with certainty. Now, since the walk is not just about putting our slippas in motion, but also about fundraising for Alzheimer's as a cause, let's touch on a couple changes there. Walk participants can turn in donations by using the mobile deposit option on our Walk mobile app. That's something new and exciting. By donating online through the Walk website, they have that option as well. And finally, they can also mail in checks to the Alzheimer's Association office. In 2019, Walk Day mission and sponsor booths provided the chance to interact and learn more about programs and local supporters. This year, however, the Walk Main Stage webinar platform will have booths for walkers to learn more about the association, our pillars, and our sponsors. Now that we understand a little bit about fundraising during a crisis and how extremely challenging this can be, all we can ask is for you to do your best in encouraging folks to fundraise and do so yourself. Whatever amount is allocable is greatly appreciated. We're also here to support you. So as a reminder, please reach out to Rebecca or Justin if you have questions or need fundraising ideas. That's literally what we're here for. Now, to share a little bit about fundraising during COVID-19, I'd like to ask my mainland brother from another mother, Doug, to join us. By the way, they obviously dress us the same if you can see the video.
We can't hear you, Doug.
There we go. Good?
Good.
All right. I had my desk phone on mute, not the program here. But aloha, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Douglas Bassett. I'm the Director of Spectrum's Community Solutions here for the state of Hawaii. This is my 3rd year being involved with the Alzheimer's Association. The first year I participated, Philip, as he mentioned, he invited me to do the walk. So, woke up early in the morning, got out there, we did the walk over at Magic Island, and it was a great experience, little did I know that Philip the following year would be, giving me a call and say, hey, do you want to get more involved? Do you want to become a volunteer? And I said, shoot, let's do it, And as you can see on the screen right now, my grandparents are the reason why that I get involved and why I volunteer. One of them, my grandmother, she suffered from dementia, and it was a slow deterioration, right? So, it was something that was over the course of, I think 5 years, where someone fully capable of doing everything, living on their own, to someone, midway through coming to my house every 30 minutes to have a discussion, not knowing that she was just there within the last 10, 15 minutes because she lived next door, right? To, motor functioning not working, and then eventually succumbing to it. And with my grandfather, it was actually really quick and surprising. It was someone who was there, and within the course of a year was gone, right? So it was really heartbreaking. So another reason why I volunteer is it's because of Rebecca and Philip, and because of everybody that's involved, and they have an understanding of what I've gone through, right? So it makes you feel comfortable that you're amongst people that have gone through your experience. So that's why I'm passionate about dedicating my time to this organization. quickly, just to, talk about some of the things that I do here personally to generate money for fundraising is as I donate my time, and as you can see in the picture here, I'm in my office, right? And, when I get involved with something, I give 100% of myself. So as you can see here, behind me, I've got the flowers. I send emails out to, people that I know personally here in the office. I also work with our other local leaders within the other departments to send emails out to the groups to let them know my involvement with the association. And you'll be surprised by, as simple as just asking somebody, if they're aware of the Alzheimer's Association, that, one, they're not aware, and two, they have someone that's going through something similar as well. And, they're really appreciative at the end of the day that you've brought it to their attention, because now they have an extra resource to reach out to help them go through something that, you've gone through. So, we'll do something, as easy as a casual day for a week, register for the walk, donate $10. Last year was, our incentive. And, we gave casual dress week for a week. We also, this year, we probably won't do the lunch and learn, but, hopefully in the upcoming years, we'll be able to do something similar where we'll have a pizza day and we'll host 15-minute little quick sessions about, the Alzheimer's group and what, we can do to, help find that cure. And, personally, again, what I do is, through Facebook, as you all probably, if you're all involved with Facebook, you get during your birthday, you get an option to choose a nonprofit or something that you want to put out there to help, people understand that you want them to contribute to. And, I've been fortunate enough to where I've asked a lot of people to, to contribute to the cause that I'm working towards, and, I've been lucky to have so many blessed people in my life that they've contributed to, what I feel passionate about. So if you guys, have any questions for me, I'm available as well. Rebecca has my information. As you guys, most of you that have met me know I'm really easygoing, I'm fun. But, again, I think if we can get the more people to help with this cause, I think we can spread more awareness and ultimately, work towards getting closer to finding that cure.
Spectacular. Thank you, Doug. Really appreciate you sharing your very heartfelt story and the ways that you're personally still fundraising during these challenging times. And to reiterate what Doug said, never hesitate to approach any member of this particular committee. But Doug in particular has the moniker of Go See Doug. And there's a reason for that, right? You've been a huge attribute to our community, and I thank you for all your efforts and creative ideas to inspire participation, Doug. So thanks again for that. So speaking which, I'd like to now take this time to give you all an opportunity to win some prizes. So as directions for this little event, what will occur is there will be a question displayed on the PowerPoint. The first person to answer correctly via the chat function on the PowerPoint will win the prize. So before we get started, everybody make sure you've got your chat functionality up and running and that you are directing your chat response to everyone. Is that correct, Rebecca, or just to you? To everyone. Okay, so your chat response will be directed to everyone. And here we go. Question number one, shoot. List at least 2 local sponsors for any of our walks. 2 local sponsors for any of our walks. Ooh, we're flowing in. Rebecca is monitoring here. Just taking a look.
The first that I saw pop up was Renee Acau.
Excellent.
She mentioned CU Hawaii and UHA. Fantastic. 2 local sponsors. Yay, Renee.
Excellent job. And what does Renee win?
LJ, what's Renee's first prize?
Renee wins a free pizza and a walk gator.
Nice. So free pizza from Papa John's and a walk gator. Congratulations, Renee. Awesome job. All right. Is everybody ready for our second question? In 3, 2, 1. Who is your main staff contact for the walk?
All right, first I saw pop up was Paul,
Nice.
but also correct answers from everyone. Tom, Amy, Renee, Scott. Yay, great job.
This one wasn't a hard one, but congratulations, Paul. So for your prize today, you are going to receive a walk car sunshade and an insulated lunch bag. So congratulations there. Okay, so moving on to our final prize question. In 3, 2, 1. List at least 2 programs the Alzheimer's Association offers in Hawaii. So think about how we support our communities. Good. There we go.
All right, I'm seeing a lot of good correct answers. It looks like first was Scott with support groups and education. Also, good
Perfect.
job,
Great
Bobby
job,
and Dixie.
everyone. Scott, you got it. All right, so Scott's prize is going to be a Walk to End Alzheimer's hat and a walk gator. Well, thank you once again, everybody, for joining us in this festivity. And of course, congratulations again to our prize winners. On behalf of the Walk to End Alzheimer's committees across the state, we want to sincerely thank you for your time today, hearing about some of the changes we're making to ensure that we are all safe and still able to create a memorable and meaningful walk experience. Now, as a reminder, if you are already registered for walk, thank you. But if you're not registered as of yet, you still soon will be after this call, I'm sure. Please chat into the chat box that you'll be registering, and we'll be happy to assist you with any logistics to get that done. Also remember, for not only yourself, but folks that you converse with, they can always register online at alls.org/walk, or simply text ALLSWalk to 51555. Again, the website is alls.org/walk, or text ALLSWalk, one word, to 51555. Now, we'd like to open up the lines to the broader group to see if anyone has questions or would like to share any additional ideas that this presentation may have inspired. Don't forget to unmute yourself. All right, doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So again, would definitely like to thank you for your time today. Take care, everyone. Please be safe and don't hesitate to engage with us in case you need any assistance. Mahalo for joining.
Aloha.
Aloha, everyone.